I know when I go look for employees, what it takes to hire somebody now is different than it was 20 years ago. They want really good coffee. I have a supplier of Haitian Blue if you need it.
We still have good. You still got to have good coffee.
You gotta have good. They want flexible working. They want other stuff. So I mean, where do you guys go to find people? How hard is it to find people? To attract them, train them, retain them, all that stuff.
I actually go to Encompas.
Oh,
Yeah.
We talked about that earlier. So.
Yeah, Encompass is a fine organization. We have we hire a lot of military. They've got a good background. Years ago, you could hire, I explained it to my boss. You could basically buy statues. Now you got to get marble. So you're going to have to be willing to mentor. Of course, all of us, it's been in this industry, somebody mentored us. I mean, somebody took us in. People I work for, it's like, what are you doing here? You have no experience, but I got a good attitude. So that's a lot of it. And people are willing to learn, but the military is a good source. They're still a good source for that. Encompass is a great source. And Intelsat's a great source. So
That's right. Yeah.
Guys beware.
Yeah, I'll tag along George's comments. It's a real struggle. It has been. This is, I think, to your point earlier, that it's a shrinking industry. We're challenged by customers not knowing about what satellites are, and even some of the young talent out there have maybe from the military some basic training, basic knowledge, but nothing like walking into our teleports. It's a night and day world. Mm-hmm. They have the core skills and a good attitude, work ethic. We look for that. And so we put together a training program because we are having such difficulty. And I think it is a really good idea bringing young talent in. They challenge the older staff there. They ask questions, why are you doing it this way? And so we welcome that. But it is a real challenge. And sometimes they come in for a year or two and then move on to something else. So we take that gamble, So it's an ongoing challenge that we've got. So.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have that challenge. I mean, we have RF engineers, we have network engineers or fiber engineers, and of course we've got broadcast engineers. But really, what you need now is network engineers that understand broadcast video, and RF engineers that understand broadcast video, for at least for our business, and that is really tough. RF engineers, we as an industry, we need to find ways of nurturing new ones, because the old ones are getting older; they're not getting any younger. And I'd like to be able to mentor some of them before I retire, so we can start finding ways of getting them in. So kind of some of the work that the SSPI is doing, I think.
But to expand on that, I mean, that we do have a different skill set now that we have to have. They do have to have at least a working knowledge of IP, because everything is IP, and everything's interconnected with that. So they have to have the networking skills. I do find it easier to take someone who has RF experience and teach them IP than the other direction, because
RF is still a lot of black magic. I'll tell you that.
Well, yes, it is. Like I said, we've got to be willing to mentor, because that knowledge has got to be passed along.
We started mine in our IT department, actually. We took our IT department and said, okay, you have usually a good working knowledge of software and applications. They usually have a good working knowledge of networking. And then you teach them the broadcast workflow and the kind of DNA that they need. The other thing is, it's also, you put a little carrot in front of them and say that video is by far the most challenging application that you're ever going to have to run on a network or with software, and that's always a good carrot. But going from IP to RF, it's like in my experience, that's been a really tough challenge.
Yeah.
because they are such completely different disciplines. You know, software and IP, there's lots and lots of people know that. Training them up to be broadcast and reliability grade that's one thing. But to find someone that can actually understand an RF operation and understand how the technology works, you know, it's kind of hard to upgrade an SSPA.
Part of it too is you've got someone who's worked in the network, IP network center. Now you're sending him out at 3 o'clock in the morning to go kick a motor on an antenna or climb an antenna because it's there's antennas are always going to be big mechanical, dirty machines.
Grease and dirt don't get along sometimes.
No, and ice, things of that nature.
Yeah, they're a very, very sort of almost unique set of skills.
They are.
And a lot of the broadcasters that operate terrestrial transmitters, they're finding it even more difficult because they're out there and they basically say you can have one engineer, and that engineer's got to manage the network, he's got to manage all the broadcast operations, and he's got to manage the transmitter. It's like, wow, that's a pretty skilled person.